Chapter 7. The Primrose Path. The brilliant golden light erupted from the conservatory, illuminating the dead forest. It was more impressive even than the legendary lighthouse of the gods. It could be seen well beyond the boundaries of the dead woods, and it struck fear into the hearts of the villagers nearby. The young witches stood in the center of the room before their mother. They were surrounded by peering skeletal faces looking in on them from outside the conservatory. The witches had never seen their forest so animated, so alive, and they had never seen their mother looking quite so dignified in all their years with her. Minea's skin was glowing in the light of the flowers as she reached for her small sickle knife hanging from her belt on a long silver chain. She sliced open her hand, cutting it deeply. The blood dripped down her long bone thin arm onto her golden dress as her daughters looked at her with fear and wonder. My daughters, from this night forth, and upon my passing, those who languish in the woods will be bound to you by my blood. Minea pushed her hair back from her face, smearing blood onto her forehead and into her hair. She raised her hands, opening the skylight to reveal the inky black sky with tiny silver pinholes of light. Girls, give me your hands. The young witches reached out their trembling hands, exposing their palms. Put your hands together, their mother snapped. The witches quickly did as their mother said, moving their hands together, each slightly overlapping the other, and before they could react, their mother sliced open their palms in one quick, unceremonious slash. Primrose screamed and jerked her hand away, clutching it to her chest, smearing blood on her bodice. Minea put a large silver bowl on the floor to catch Hazel's and Gothel's blood. There it mingled with Minea's. Primrose, you must mingle your blood with ours. Primrose cried silently, clutching her hand. I can't, mother. I can't. Minea grabbed Primrose's hand and squeezed it over the bowl, mingling Primrose's blood with Gothel's and Hazel's and her own. Now stand back, she said, picking up the bowl. Minea raised the bowl above her head, offering it to the sky. The blood exploded, filling the air with crimson luminescence, and drifted up through the skylight and into the clouds, turning them and the stars a deep blood red that glistened like tiny fragments of rubies. Minea set down the bowl and stretched out her long bony fingers, her hands shaking with her power as lightning exploded from her fingertips, causing the clouds to burst and rain blood on the dead woods, the witches, and her skeletal minions. With this blood, the dead are now bound to us all, the four of us, forever. Primrose screamed again, falling to the floor, and wept uncontrollably, violently shaking with each sob. I can't do this. I can't. Gothel picked up her sister and held her tightly in her arms. Prim, calm down, please. Primrose looked terrified, her face speckled with blood. I'm sorry, Gothel. I can't do this. I thought I could. I tried. I promise. Silence. Minea roughly took Primrose by the hair with one hand and covered her mouth with her bleeding hand. You will take my blood, screamed Minea as Primrose flailed, trying to fight off her mother. Minea was too strong. She forced Primrose to the ground, still pressing her bleeding hand over Primrose's open mouth, muffling her screams as Primrose kicked, trying to get her mother off her. Gothel and Hazel stood, paralyzed with fear, as they watched their sister convulse, trying to wriggle out from under their mother while spitting blood into her face. Minea stood up and wiped her face, looking down on her daughter, splayed on the floor. You think I don't know your heart, Primrose? Look at you, too weak to even take my blood. You're pathetic. Even your sisters see your flaws. Even they considered letting you leave the dead woods because they know you would only be a hindrance to them. Well, I will save them the heartbreak of seeing you leave. Minea stretched out her long, spindly hands, clutching at the air, squeezing something within them. Primrose started to cough, grasping at her throat. Gothel couldn't believe what she was seeing. Her mother was killing Primrose. Mother, stop! Screamed Hazel. Minea flicked her hand in Hazel's direction, sending her careering across the room and through one of the conservatory windows, the glass shattering and mixing with Hazel's blood. Hazel! Gothel didn't know which sister to run to, Hazel or Primrose. She felt helpless and afraid. Primrose is dying. Her face was turning purple, her eyes large and bulbous. She was on the edge of death, somewhere between there and the mists. Gothel didn't know how to stop her mother. She hadn't taken the blood. She had no powers. And then she remembered. The flowers. Mother's treasures. She seized one of the oil lamps that hung on hooks around the room and screamed at her mother, "Mother, stop! Stop, or I will burn it all down!" Minea stopped dead. She looked up from Primrose and saw Gothel standing in the center of the flowers, holding the oil lamp. "Gothel, no! You'll kill us all! Put down the lamp! Not until you let Primrose go!" "Take her," said Minea, tossing Primrose onto the floor in a bloody heap. "Take your pathetic excuse for a sister. I don't want her." Minea stepped away from Primrose. "Take her out of here now before I change my mind and kill you all. Get out of here, now." Gothel rushed to her sister and tried to rouse her. "Prim, can you walk? Let's get out of here." Primrose got up, wobbly on her feet, and let her sister guide her out of the conservatory to where Hazel was lying on the ground. Minea stood stark still, waiting and watching from the conservatory window to see what Gothel would do. "Hazel, are you okay?" Gothel helped the bloodied and bruised Hazel to her feet, all the while keeping an eye on her mother. "Don't you move, mother, or I will do it," Gothel said in her most commanding voice. The three sisters stood there for what felt like an eternity, just looking at their mother. Gothel had to wonder how the three of them looked, standing there. Did they look afraid? Did her mother think she was brave? Whatever her mother thought was not betrayed by the stone expression on her face. "I think she is more afraid than we are. You have to kill her," Hazel said under her breath. "You have to," said Primrose, still clutching her bruised throat. "Silence, you wretched vipers," said Minea, sending Hazel and Primrose flying with her magic and smashing them against a tree, splintering it into bits. "Mother, stop! Please don't kill us." Minea's face utterly changed. She looked like an animal trying to make out a strange noise. "Kill you, Gothel? Never! I could never hurt you. Haven't you been listening to me? Haven't you read it in my journals? To hurt you would be like hurting myself. I could never hurt you, even if I wanted to. Then please leave my sisters alone. Please don't hurt them anymore." "Sisters?" Minea laughed. "Ha! They're nothing to you, Gothel. Hazel had promised. I wanted her to be your companion in magic. I wanted her to be your guide, to help you feel, because your heart is too much like mine, too black. Hazel would be able to help you in matters of the heart. And Primrose, well, I thought she would be a welcome distraction from your studies, something to break the monotony and toiling. But that's all they are to you, Gothel. You, Gothel, you are mine." "Then please don't break my heart. Please don't kill them," screamed Gothel. "It's too late. Primrose will never agree to stay in the dead woods, and Hazel will talk you into letting her leave, putting our home in danger, putting everything at risk. I can't let that happen. I can't let them destroy everything my family has created and cultivated here, everything that will someday belong to you. I'm sorry, my darling, but they have to die." "No, mother, you have to die." Gothel hurled the lamp into the conservatory, setting the Rapunzel aflame. "Gothel, what have you done?" Minea created a protective shield around herself so the flames couldn't touch her. "Gothel, no! Save the Rapunzel!" Minea screamed as she started to wither and age and crumble to dust. She screamed in pain as the Rapunzel burned. "Gothel, save the Rapunzel!" The flames overtook the conservatory. Gothel snatched up one of the Rapunzel flowers before the conservatory started to collapse, as her mother turned to dust, crumbling before her eyes. Gothel watched in horror as her mother withered into a dry husk and disintegrated. "Gothel, please help me!" screamed her mother, right before her face fell to dust. "I killed her! I killed her!" Gothel's head was spinning. She couldn't believe she had done this. She wanted to take it back. She wanted to try to reason with her, give her a chance. But it was too late. Everything was destroyed. Everything was in ruins. "Sisters!" Gothel ran from the burning conservatory into the dead woods. She ran past the blood-soaked legion of the dead into the trees, searching for her sisters, calling out their names. Panicked, her mother had killed them. "Primrose? Hazel? Where are you?" She begged the morose skeletal creatures to help her find them, and was answered with vacant looks. "Have you seen my sisters?" The skeletons just stared, showing no sign they even noticed their mistress had died. "Where is Jacob?" she thought. "Jacob! Primrose! Hazel!" She screamed again and again as she ran into the darkness with only the light of the flower and the burning conservatory in the distance to guide her.